Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of August 29, 2021. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week and a powerful one at that. But I almost feel like this week is a little bit deceptive because it is next week that the same energy now that may, on the one hand, feel strong and certain may come up for questioning. But more importantly, the energy now that is tiring, perhaps even draining, and can evoke a disappointment, will next week turn into incredible, surprising gains and luck and dramatic turnarounds and meaningful empowerment. And so I'd like to put this week into context because it is going to be next week that we are going to have a powerful new moon in the sign of Virgo that is going to trine Uranus. And it's that Uranus trine that is especially interesting to me because that is all about the breakthrough, the surprise, the delight, how dramatically things can change in an instant with the new and the next. What we are also going to have next week, among a whole lot of other aspects, is we're going to have Mars trine Pluto. This is the ancient ruling planet of Scorpio and the modern ruling planet of Scorpio, speaking in supreme harmony. This is the power of focus and transformation and empowerment from the inside out. This is feeling different, a power move that transforms your circumstances for the better. And so I'm telling you about this now, even though I'm going to dive into it much more deeply when we get to next week, because I like to take it, as we get there. But I wanted to mention it now because this week, the deceptive part of the energy is what's happening with Mars. So Mars right now is in the sign of Virgo, and it will, on Wednesday, stand across the sky from Neptune. So this is by far the dominant energy this week. We are going to be feeling it as we navigate through this week. And this energy is somewhat rare. It takes place about once every 2 years or so. And of course, it is not as common to have this take place with Mars in the sign of Virgo and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. It is going to be in the middle of the decade that Neptune is going to change signs. So we might just get one more alignment like this or a second one as well. But that's about it. And so we won't see alignments like this very often in a lifetime. But here we are. And I see this energy a couple of different ways. On the one hand, we can think of Virgo very characteristically, perhaps stereotypically, is an energy of the details, right? And of thinking about things very deeply, analytically, understanding nuances. But what happens then when you have that very energy energized, but you add this element of confusion and even delusion as well? Where is it that our reality and our fantasy are not matching up? But more importantly, where is it that we have had heightened expectations of what we think our life should be? And where is it that life has let us down? Now, I want to be so respectful of this because to me, for some out there, this can be an energy of grieving the disconnect between the fantasy, the hope, and the reality of our lives. And grieving is powerful. It is a very strong process, and we all go through it in our own ways, in different ways. We grieve the loss of pets or relationships or people or situations or even time frames of our lives. And it is valid to feel whatever it is that you feel. But what I would just invite you to consider is what is sacred about what you feel? A little bit earlier today, Saturday actually, because this post on Sunday morning, it was on Saturday afternoon that I gave a presentation. It was a brief presentation with this wonderful organization called ESAR. I mentioned them to you last week as well. So they had a day-long symposium with a whole bunch of superstar astrologers. I felt very honored to be included in this day-long symposium. And each presenter, each astrologer, shared what they thought astrology is. So it was astrology is blank, and it was different for different people. For me, I was asked to present on astrology is ancient wisdom. And I ended up presenting on the ideas of Sufi mystic and astrologer Ibn Arabi. Now, I've mentioned Ibn Arabi before because I actually wrote my graduate school dissertation on him. And I remember that was a whole long time ago. That was a long time ago. The middle of the last decade is how long ago that was. No, the decade before, actually. That's how long it was. But it was way back then that I remember going through graduate school, getting my master's, and boy, was that hard. That was a hard journey, I will tell you. In all kinds of ways, it challenged me. And I remember coming across some ideas of Ibn Arabi, and I decided that I was going to do my dissertation on him, and that was hard as well. But I remember saying to his spirit, yo, if you help me get this degree, I will talk about you. I will share your ideas whenever it is that I can. And so I was really glad that I got a chance to do that. And I know from time to time, I share some of his ideas here with you all as well. It is Ibn Arabi who wrote an essay called He So Who Knoweth Thyself. And the entire phrase is, He so who knoweth thyself, knoweth thy Lord. And what this essentially means is that when you know yourself and who you are, and you're willing to be with everything that you feel, you are actually being with the divine and the divine within you. He understood our experience of life as part of the magnificent breath. And the magnificent breath is essentially what he understood as the divine. It is the expansion of the energy that I like to call love and wisdom that we are here to be a part of experiencing. And so in this essay, he talks about how, and he says, every elation, every joy, every sadness, every disappointment, every happiness that you may experience in your life is another way that the divine itself experiences itself in a way that it would not have had you not been there to experience that exact elation or joy or disappointment or sadness or happiness. So what Ibn Arabi is saying is that it is all divine. The entirety of our human experience is an expression of the divine. And of course, he was an astrologer as well, and he believed that the sky was perfect. The chart was perfect. That everything in the chart is exactly what it is that you need it to be so that you can fulfill your part of the magnificent breath as fully as possible over the course of this lifetime. That includes the square that you don't like in your chart, because I know I've been there, that placement of Saturn that you wish wasn't there, right? Saturn's got to go somewhere in the chart. Pluto's got to go somewhere in the chart. And so even all of that, of course, he wasn't working with Pluto way back then. He lived about 900 years ago. But even your placement of Saturn, whatever it may be doing in your chart, that is a part of your fulfillment of the magnificent breath, your embodiment of love and wisdom over the course of this lifetime. In the astrology chart itself, to understand the astrological symbols is ultimately a glimpse into the mystery. That's all that it truly can provide to us, is a glimpse. When we're fortunate and when we're ready and when we're open, we get that glimpse into the mystical symbolism that the chart represents. And that is very powerful to consider. And so I was thinking about his ideas a little bit earlier today, actually, because of course I presented his ideas and it felt like a homecoming in a way, because his ideas were so influential to my understanding of how I'm going to approach the sky and the chart and how I interpret the sky. But I was watching a show a little bit earlier today, and I'm binge watching it on Netflix. Yes, I'm actually going to talk about this. And the show is very interesting. It is called Greenleaf, and it is a very distinct culture and world of gospel and Southern churches. And it is fascinating. I will watch anything, and I love watching things that have to do with different spiritual traditions and religious traditions and cultural traditions. Like it is something that fascinates me very much. So it's been very interesting to glimpse this other world that I don't really know a lot about. And so I'm in the middle of season 3 right now. And so what has happened is, if you watch this, you'll know who I'm talking about, but I'll try to skip through as much as possible. Basically, Grace has a daughter. Her daughter is like 17 years old. And her daughter had to have this emergency surgery, and her ovaries were removed. Now, her daughter a year earlier had gotten baptized and was really enthusiastic and active in the church, but now she's lost her ovaries, and she's mourning what this represents, that she won't be able to have biological children. And so she's decided, and she's thrown away her things that represent her baptism and all of that. And she's decided she doesn't want to go to church anymore. She doesn't believe this anymore. So obviously she's grieving right now. She's angry right now. And I'm watching this, and it's been going on now for a couple of episodes. And I know that everybody has their own process, and that grief is not something that should be or could be confined to a single episode for convenience, right? We all go through a journey, whatever it is and wherever it is we may have lost, we go through a journey. Now, as I'm watching this, I'm thinking about a friend of mine. I won't say her name because I didn't get her permission beforehand, but she is this beautiful woman. I will just say that. She is beautiful and spiritual. She's an astrologer. She looks magnificent, and she's older now. And I remember when I visited her in the US, and she was telling me about how she couldn't have biological children. And so she and her husband had foster children. And she was telling me about these different foster children who are now all well-grown adults. And in their own way, they've created their own lives, and they're successful in their own lives. They have families. They're living their life as well-adjusted adults. And she was telling me about how amazing these different kids were, how these kids came at different ages, and they were foster kids, and some stayed for a month or two, but most of the kids that she ended up taking in, they stayed for years, and they stayed right up until it was time for them to be adults and move on, maybe go to college or whatever the case may be. And I'm watching this show, and I'm thinking about my friend, and I'm thinking about how we can't always know in the moment, right? In our moment of our grief, in the moment of disappointment, we can't always know the larger mystery playing out. If my friend was able to have biological children because she really wanted children and loved children and wanted the experience of being a parent, and if you want that, you should have that. She wanted that. And she would not have met and been influenced by and loved by and given love to and had these incredible human beings come into her life if she had been able to have her own biological children. As part of the mystery, she was this teacher and conduit and caregiver to these incredible souls who came into her life that would not have any other way, especially if she was able to have biological children. And she was the first to tell me about this. And I was thinking about this show, and I was thinking about this character and how, yes, it's sad. If you want something, of course, if you want something and it's good, especially if it's good and it's rooted in love, it would be wonderful if everybody could get everything that they wanted, especially when it's rooted in love. But sometimes, as part of the mystery, that isn't always the case. And I reflect on my own life. I reflect on all the things that I mourned in my life, the losses that and the sadness that I've had to address, as everybody does, right? It is a part of the human experience. Sadness, disappointment, and elation, and happiness, and joy, all of this is a part not only of the human experience, but it is a part of how the divine itself experiences itself through us. It is the energy of source. Some people call it God, some people call it love, some people call it wisdom. All of these emotions are of source. And I'm watching this and I almost want to reach into the TV, into Netflix, and kind of shake this girl and say, you have no idea how your home might be filled with so much love, filled with so many incredible souls that you would not have known otherwise had this moment not occurred. And sometimes we can't see it in the moment. And so I share this with you because Mars in Virgo, opposite Neptune, all of us in some way, either we're going to find ourselves connecting to anger over our disappointment. I'm sorry to say that. I love to give you great news, and I will. There is great news. Not only is there great news coming up with next week and this week in the context of next week, but this week as well. And so I'd love to be able to say everything is Pollyanna, but the truth is that if it's love and if it's wisdom, which I believe the universe is wise and loving, then it's not always going to be Pollyanna. The truth is that life can have all these different layers, but we can choose to see what wisdom may be playing out. At certain moments in life, we get a chance to glimpse the mystery. That's what we get a chance to do, glimpse the mystery. And as part of the mystery, even the sadness, the mourning, the disappointment can be part of what ultimately aligns us with elation and joy and happiness and something even better than what we could have planned for ourselves. I don't think anybody sets out to be an astrologer. I certainly didn't. I set out to be Madonna. Like that was my only example really when I was growing up of a woman with a platform and a voice in the world was Madonna. And so that's what I thought I needed to be. And then I had my Saturn return and I realized that the world already has a Madonna. It doesn't need another Madonna, but maybe it could use a Nadiya Shah. And I had no idea who that was. I had no idea who that was. And I remember the mourning, the shock, the sense of not being connected to self, like just feeling like I don't know who I am. And a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, a spiritual mentor who's been a part of my life for 20 years now, at the time and just shortly after, she was saying to me how there was like a year there where she would see me and she knew that it was me, but it was like I was gone. And yeah, I was. I was through a dark night of the soul. I was mourning. I was mourning the loss of what I thought I was supposed to be and not knowing like who I really am. And it was very powerful how astrology helped me during that transition. And it was very powerful how life brought me to astrology. And as you know, I've been mentioning for the last couple of weeks, this week, it's going to be 15 years as a full-time astrologer. And I look at my life now, and this is for me, right? I'm sure that Madonna and being Madonna is incredible and it's fabulous. And I'm so happy for her that she gets to be her, that she gets to be Madonna. But I am certain that that is not the life that I want. And I have an incredible life that is better than anything I could have planned for myself. And that's how life is sometimes. There are moments when we feel very connected to how we co-create with the universe. We feel very connected to like the law of attraction. And there are times in a chart when, yeah, that's the way to go. You're feeling connected to the energy of creation and the universe, and you're making things happen, and you're aligning your mind and your energy and your emotion, and that's great. But what can sometimes happen is what's called spiritual bypass, which is that people tell themselves everything's amazing, everything's great, because they think they want to align with the law of attraction, but there's a deeper healing that's being asked to be addressed, because that is sacred too. As much as we have our free will and we co-create with the universe, there is very often, and especially at certain times, at certain transits, a higher, more loving vision for our life than anything we can imagine for ourselves. And it is our sense of attachment, our unwillingness to let go of some concept, some vision that we think we're supposed to be, and the lack of trust that ultimately creates more pain for ourselves. And so now we have this opportunity here, right? We've got Mars opposite Neptune. In at least one area of life, all of us may find the disconnect very much on the surface. And for some of us, it's going to be harder than others, especially where there's been attachment, very powerful attachment to the vision that we had, that we thought we were supposed to be, that we thought we wanted to be. And here's the thing, sometimes we just have to give ourselves permission to feel it. To give ourselves permission to feel it means we're no longer fighting it. We're surrendering the anger and instead allowing ourselves to be in the disappointment and the uncertainty of life. However, we may feel that this week in at least one area of life, but it's almost as if by allowing ourselves to feel it, we can then move through it. And for some things, the only way out is through. And that may be the case now. And when I look at what's on the other side, that new moon in the sign of Virgo, trine Uranus next week, in a very precise trine at that, with a small orb, which is very powerful. Sun trine Uranus under that new moon. We've got Mars trine Pluto as well. And all of that does suggest that if we are willing to move through whatever we feel, practice self-care the way that you know, and especially if you're somebody who knows that you may have emotional ups and downs. Well, look, here's the thing. Sometimes you have to give into the lows, because it means that your highs are going to be there as well, right? And so the richness of life, and especially if you desire to be immersed in the experience of life, it means that there are going to be times when you have sadness, but then you'll also have elation. That's the promise of feeling things deeply in this lifetime. And so if we allow ourselves to feel what we need to feel while practicing self-care, not getting lost in our emotion, not thinking we are our emotion, you feel your sadness, right? You are having an experience of sadness, but you are not sadness itself. You are moving through the human experience. You are experiencing a part of, and you're part of, the magnificent breath for that moment. So make sure you're practicing self-care, whatever it is that you do that helps you to feel good about yourself. Now, there's an acronym that I learned a long time ago, and boy, has it been helpful. I have shared this with many a client over the years, and the acronym is HALT. And this is the foundation to any spiritual practice, any spiritual life. And HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And what that means is if you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, it is that much harder to see the love and see the wisdom in moments that are challenging, because there are basic needs that we have. Think about Maslow's hierarchy, right? The very basic foundational needs, the lower part of the pyramid is the basic human needs that we have, like to rest and like to eat. And then we start to ascend. Once those needs are met, we start to ascend, and we have a genuine need for connection with other people. And sometimes people, they're not really interested in going all the way up the pyramid to self-actualization, and that's okay. There are a lot of people who like to say somewhere in the middle, right? Or maybe even just a little bit lower than the middle, and that's okay too. We all are on our own journey. But the very foundation, the base of the pyramid is HALT. It's asking you to pay attention to HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So if you're hungry, eat, right? It's a great privilege that we have. Chances are, if you're watching this on the internet, you probably are able to eat and have food. So hungry, eat. If you're angry, what do you do to resolve your anger? Well, look at the Mars in your chart. Learn about your chart. Learn about your Mars. That's going to tell you a lot. If you've got Mars in an air sign, talk to somebody. If you've got Mars in a fire sign, move in some way, right? Or be creative, have a creative outlet. Water as well. Mars in a water sign needs a creative outlet also. And that creative outlet can be not necessarily intellectually oriented. It could be music, it could be painting, or it could be just feeling it. Go for the ride. You know you're going to be okay. And if you're lonely, then talk to somebody. And especially now, being online, it's so much easier to connect with other people. Be part of online communities. That helps as well. And if you're tired, rest. So it's very simple. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. If you address those basic needs, then it becomes that much easier to see the love and wisdom playing out. But if you don't have those basic needs met, you might be able to still see the love and wisdom, but it just is a whole lot harder. And so, yes, as part of Mars opposite Neptune, we may need to tap into the power of Halt to take care of ourselves on that basic level, but also trust, also faith. Now, we have another interesting energy playing out as well, and that is Mercury. It is going to be on Monday that Mercury is going to move into the sign of Libra. And then as we navigate later into the week, at the end of the week, Mercury will trine Saturn. And so this is valuable for a few reasons. Mercury moving into the sign of Libra, well, Mercury is about to spend about 2 months in this sign because next week, Mercury will go into shadow. And towards the end of September, Mercury will go retrograde. Yes, we are here again. We are approaching Mercury retrograde season. And what that suggests is all of us in one area of life, wherever Libra falls in your chart or in relation to your sun sign, or as a general principle, our understanding of ourselves in relation to others, relating to other people one-on-one. Well, all of that is going to be an area that we are looking at more deeply, contemplating more deeply, reconnecting with partners. But for this week, Mercury is strong. Mercury is moving forward. And Mercury will trine Saturn at the end of the week. And that is very powerful because that is an energy of mental stability, very likely brought on by interacting with another person one-on-one that ends up helping us to feel grounded. That is the gift of this energy of this time. But again, as you see, just like with Mars and what's happening in the sign of Virgo, we're going on this little bit of a dip before we get to the wonderful breakthrough energy next week. It's almost like the dip is necessary so that we make the most of what's new and next and fortunate next week. But what is happening this week with Mercury is important as well because Mercury has moved into a sign, and it is moving into a sign that he will be in for a while, an unusually long time. And at least for this week, before Mercury enters shadow, Mercury is strong, especially by connecting with Saturn, bringing stability, bringing a focus on the long term, and helping us to feel more secure, helping us to understand how to direct our mind towards success that is meaningful to us and uniquely to us at that. What I love about this week for us, well, look, it's the journey that we're on, right? We are on this journey of elation and disappointment and sadness and happiness. We are on the journey of life, part of the human experience of life. And here we get the great opportunity to glimpse the mystery, to have these moments, perhaps brief moments, where we may get to contemplate what higher wisdom could be playing out. What if you were actively looking for love and wisdom in situations that felt challenging or sad or disappointing? What if you were actively looking for where it is and how it is that the universe could be conspiring on your behalf, moving you in a direction of greater love and greater wisdom through this very experience of disappointment or sadness or uncertainty or confusion or delusion? Where is it that sometimes we need to experience disappointment in order to open ourselves up to even greater possibility than anything we could have imagined before. And sometimes life is like that, truly. Life isn't always, I humbly would suggest that life isn't always about what you envision and what you attract and what you co-create. But sometimes life is about allowing. It is about allowing the universe to show you something that perhaps you never considered, you never thought about, you never imagined. Something, a vision of you, a vision of your life that is greater than anything you could have imagined for yourself. I remember so many years ago telling a friend, and I was so upset that day. I mean, look, I was quite the dramatic young person. And this was many years ago. This was like 20 years ago. And I remember talking to a friend and saying, I just want to be Madonna. Like, that's all I want. And my friend said to me, oh, honey, what the universe has planned for you is way cooler than what you are planning for yourself, and is way cooler for you than whatever you think Madonna is. And I think about that now as I'm going to celebrate 15 years as a full-time astrologer, the incredible life I've been able to live that you have made possible for me. And I am grateful every single day for the life that you make possible for me. Thank you. But yeah, for me and the person I am and the type of person I am and the experiences I crave and I want, this life is amazing. It is amazing. And it is so much more than what I had imagined for myself, that I tried to align with, that I tried to law of attraction for myself. It's better. And that's how the universe works sometimes. And I do think that the energy this week is going to shift very quickly. Yes, there is an energy there of uncertainty, but very quickly, especially as we navigate into next week, we will see the great opportunity to align and to be that more higher, more loving vision for ourselves than anything we planned before, but was always a part of the mystery, was always a part of our fulfillment of our own little corner of the magnificent breath. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. You know I love reading you guys, and to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares, who thumbs ups. All of it means so much. And I do want to let you guys know that sometimes I do also share some of your comments in my Instagram stories, which you can also get on my Facebook stories. So I hope that you'll check that out as well. And of course, if you want to know how these powerful celestial connections are going to speak to you for your sign, now you can be a superstar for as low as just $3 a month. That's right, at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. You get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week for each and every sign, for as low as just $3 a month with choose your membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like access to classes at Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. The huge once a year anniversary sale event, well, that is coming up this week. It is a 24-hour event only. It happens from midnight, September 1st, Eastern Standard Time, for 24 hours going forward. That is the anniversary of my website, my main website, NadiyaShah.com. And that is my anniversary of being a full-time astrologer. And so it is always that 24-hour period that is the biggest sale of the year. I only do 2 sales every year. One is the anniversary sale, and then the other is the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. But it is the anniversary sale that has the biggest discounts. And I know a lot of people out there, they wait. Sometimes they wait 2 months for the anniversary sale. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you. There are huge discounts. And when I mean huge, I mean at least 50% off, surprising discounts, chances to get free classes, and a whole lot more. And so I would encourage you to sign up to my newsletter or follow me on social media. That's when you'll get the instant notification when the sale has gone up and the links that you need to access some of the discounts. And so Links are in the description below. Just scroll to the main page, the bottom of the main page of nadiyashah.com. Sign up for my newsletter there. Or again, social media links in the description below. And I look forward to celebrating with you. It's the quinceañera of my website of me being a full-time astrologer. I don't have a quinceañera dress yet. I have a wonderful tiara that's more like a crown, but it's in Canada, and I'll be in Canada in a week. So I'm really looking forward to being back home finally. But yeah, that's where I have this beautiful crown that I bought in Thailand. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got to do something, right? Because this is special and this is very, very beautiful. So I'm looking forward to celebrating with you in one way or another. Thank you for being a part of 15 amazing years as a full-time astrologer. Wow. We made it this far. Isn't it amazing, right? And it's just incredible how life goes on. Like one day at a time, do what's in front of you to do, follow whatever you feel is your calling, whatever you're meant to do. And 15 years go by and you've created a life. And my wish and my hope is that you create a life that you can feel really, really good about, the way that I feel about my life. And it's a blessing. It's a privilege. I know not everybody gets the privilege to be able to align with self-actualization. And you have made that possible for me. So for that, I am eternally and incredibly grateful. So thank you for 15 years, but there will be some kind of party going on this week. And of course, on my website, there will be big, big discounts as well. So I hope that you enjoy that also. And I look forward to celebrating 15 years with you. A quick shout out to my sponsor. My newest sponsor is Modern Day Manifestations. I will put up an image of some of their amazing jewelry. I'm actually wearing some right now. This is from Modern Day Manifestations, and I feel a little bit like Wonder Woman, right? With her wrists and how she's able to it's very, very fun. But these are all real stones, real quartz and crystals and all of that. And you can feel the power, you can feel the quality. I absolutely love it. So a big shout out to Modern Day Manifestations for being my sponsor for this episode, and check them out. Some of their beautiful jewelry, and they explain the different healing qualities of the different stones on their website as well. So link is in the description below. Synchronicity University September Speaker Series. Choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class is on for just a couple of more days until August 31st or August 30. That is the cutoff date for choose your tuition rate. And there are scholarships available as well, a limited number that you can apply for at synchronicityuniversity.com. And so, yes, the speaker series is going to have these incredible speakers talking about incredible things. I've been sharing their interviews with you here on my YouTube channel. So make sure you have a look at that so you can see whom it is that you're going to be learning from and what it is that they're going to be teaching, and you get to know them and see me have fascinating conversations with them that I absolutely loved as well. So we have got progressions, we've got practical magic with planetary days, we've got Chiron in astrology, sacred hurdles, and so much more. We've got evolutionary astrology and the 6th axis of the zodiac. So I think it's going to be a wonderful and rewarding September speaker series at synchronicityuniversity.com. Choose your tuition rate is on for just 2 or 3 more days as this video is shared with the world. So I hope that you will join us. Link is in the description below. Synchronicity University and the London School of Astrology have joined forces for the conference event of the year. We have got big dog astrologers, and this is a huge and exciting event. There is a limited use discount code available as well. And so if you go to synchronicityuniversity.com, you'll get to see all these amazing astrologers that will be joining us. Some of them you've learned from before at Synchronicity University. Others are going to be big dogs, widely recognizable. You know them right away. And others still are future superstars of astrology. And so I hope that you'll join us. I think it's going to be so much fun. A party weekend taking place over the Autumn Equinox weekend. And so you can learn more. You can see the speakers on my YouTube channel, but also on my website at synchronicityuniversity.com. And use the coupon code SU50 to get 50% off of the conference price. So for this price point and this quality and caliber of speakers, really, it is an incredible deal, but also it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So I hope that you will join us, synchronicityuniversity.com. Kabbalistic astrology with the one and only fabulous Rachel Schwartz. I absolutely love Rachel, and she's going to be teaching a 5-part series. Choose Your Tuition Rate is on right now, as low as just $5 a class. Imagine that, getting a 5-part course on Kabbalistic astrology for that low a rate. And so for just $5 a class, you can join us over the course of October. Choose Your Tuition Rate is on now and until the end of September. And she's teaching on all these different parts of life and helping you to understand the astrological, Kabbalistic perspective to understanding everything from relationships to parenting to yourself and your chart. She as well has been on my YouTube channel before. She's taught at Synchronicity University before. She'll be teaching at the conference as well. Like, she's one of those people where I know she is going to just be a favorite. And so when we were putting together the conference event with the London School of Astrology, she was somebody I was like, we got to have Rachel Schwartz. She's so amazing. She knows her stuff. She's absolutely brilliant, and she's such a star. And so you can see her interview on my channel. You can learn more about her course as well at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links are in the description below. The autumn session of Synchronicity University, classes taught by me, Saturdays starting in October. Well, it is Choose Your Tuition Rate as well, as low as just $5 a month until the end of September. You can actually pay as low as just $5 a month to learn incredible topics. We'll be having several classes on the midheaven and the 10th house. We're going to be looking more at the 9th house, more at the 5th house of windfalls and luck. We are also going to have a class on how to write horoscopes. So this is where you're going to get my insider secrets, if you will, horoscope videos or writing horoscopes, how to do that. I will be sharing practical techniques for you. And we are also going to have a class on power couples as well. So I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun this autumn. It's back to school. You know, everybody's always focused on back to school right around this time of year. And so, yes, it's back to school. Incredible astrology classes taught by others, yes, but also taught by me as well, because I absolutely love teaching. Thank you to my core group who always join me on Saturdays. I absolutely love you guys. And the core group that don't get to join me on Saturdays, but always sign up. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Or if this is the first time you'll be taking classes with me as well, I'm truly grateful for you also. And so links are in the description below, or visit synchronicityuniversity.com to choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class for the back to school autumn session. Check out Mayan astrology. Now, this is the final cover. This is still a prototype, but the final cover of the book that I have co-written with my friend Yuriria Robles. Now, this book is available for pre-sale for just a few more days until the end of August. And with the pre-sale, you get $250 worth of free gifts. This is such a dream come true. I love that Yuriria is sharing her brilliance. She's one of the world leading experts in Mayan astrology. This is her art featured on the final cover. And I love that I got to co-write this with her. We took the translation, we went back and forth, added my own flair, added my forward. And so together we came up with this book. So the advanced copy is going to ship at the end of September. And if you get the advanced copy, as I said, there's lots of free gifts available. If you want to wait until this is available in stores, well, that is going to be November 11th. And at that time, the Spanish edition, only her name, Yuriria Robles, is going to be on the Spanish edition. And that is also going to be available on November 11th as well. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you so much to everybody who's gotten this, everyone who's excited to learn more and read more about your Mayan horoscope. And links are in the description below, or visit synchronicitypublications.com. And the Canadian Astrology Conference at astrologyconference.ca is right around the corner as well. Huge astrologers are going to be teaching there, and this is taking place towards the end of September. I will link to it in the description below, and I will be teaching a class that I haven't taught before that I think is going to be so much fun. And I'll be teaching on Alan Leo and his esoteric astrology and looking at the contribution he made to move astrology from this very predictive model into and become a part of the New Age movement, which ultimately helped it to become a part of what astrology is today in our more modern world. And so Alan Leo was a hugely influential figure. I'm going to be putting my nerd hat on. We are going to talk about all the wonderful things he did and all the ways in which he was persecuted, but ultimately ended up making a huge contribution to our practice. And so the theme is bridging ancient and modern astrology, and he really is the bridge. I'm so excited to be teaching about him. I would also add, we've got other huge astrologers. Now, Michael Barwick, you've seen him lots of times at my channel or Synchronicity University. He's going to be teaching as well. Demetra George, the one and only living legend, Demetra George is going to be doing the opening keynote as well. And so the registration is in Canadian dollars, which means if you're American, you get, basically you might feel like you got a huge discount, which is probably the case. But you can check out astrologyconference.ca and learn more about the incredible speakers and talks that are going to be part of the Canadian Astrology Conference. Links are in the description below. And finally, you can get my take on your unique birth chart by checking out my partnership with Cosmogram. At Cosmogram, you go onto their website using the link in the description below. You enter in your birth data, and within hours, you will get a PDF electronic copy of your chart, along with explanations of the different planetary placements. And those explanations are written by me. And so you can actually log on to Cosmogram and you can see a sample report there so you know exactly what it is that you're going to get as well. So again, link is in the description below, and thank you for the great privilege of wanting my interpretation of your unique birth chart. And thank you. Thank you so much again for this moment with you. Thank you for 15 amazing years. I know that some of you have been watching since 2008 when my channel first launched, my YouTube channel, and that's really incredible. And I know that a bunch of people recently subscribed as well. So wherever it is that I have met you on your journey, I am truly so grateful for it. What a wonderful journey it has been. 15 years, I always get kind of nostalgic and sentimental, in particular, right around this time of year, because it is so important to me. It was a hugely beautiful and empowering thing to go into astrology full time. And you have blessed me with your trust and with an amazing life. And for that, I am eternally grateful. So here's to the next 15. I look forward to doing something online somewhere on one of my social media platforms to say thank you. And really, thank you so much. I look forward to celebrating with you. And I just feel so much love for all of you right now. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of all these wonderful blessings in my life. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.